Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Elaine Travis. I am a career hair colorist, a salon owner, and an independent educator. I am actually on vacation right now. I just got to sunny St. Pete, Florida. So the nice thing about Facebook and technology is I'm able to still do my coffee chat even while on vacation. And that's how much I love to connect with other hair colorists that I rarely ever miss because I love this connection. So I was especially excited for today's talk because I had the great pleasure of being interviewed by Bonnie Bonadeo of the Beauty Agents. She does a special feature called The Spotlight, and she is affiliated with the Facebook group Hairdressers Advice, helping hairdressers and barbers live their purpose. And the interview is available there. If you haven't joined that group, it's a great group. They post any relevant education, the usual hairstylist support group where they talk about client issues, color issues, sharing ideas. It's a great forum. So Bonnie interviewed me, and it was a great interview. We talked about my career and, where did I start? Where did I go in between, and where am I now, and the whole journey. And I talk about my journey in my book, A Colorful Journey, and she also wanted to hear about that. And the biggest takeaway for me was at the end of the interview, after I, discussed my frustrations with what's going on as a whole in the industry, her final question to me was, what would you like to see changed in the industry right now? What is something that bothers you? And without even hesitating for a second, my answer was pricing. I think that there's so much fear around pricing in our industry. People are so afraid to raise their prices and charge what they're worth because there's this element of, but I'm busy, my clients, I finally have a full book. There's such a struggle in the beginning of the career in this business that we're so grateful for every single client that sits in our chair, and we're so afraid to lose them. And the fear factor never goes away. I was on a call yesterday that was really awesome. It was a new life coach that I've gotten to see online. She's gotten my attention. She's done some advertising, and I was like, let me check this out. She did a free group coaching call, and something that she said on the call really resonated with me because it's something that is an issue with me from my childhood. My dad was a really hard worker, very blue collar, but made a lot of money as a blue collar worker. He never finished high school, let alone go to college. And he's a very successful man, but he drilled it into our heads as kids. You are what you do. Like, your career defines you. I don't want to hear about your day at school. I don't want to hear about your boyfriends. I don't want to hear about your, extracurricular activities, cheerleading, any of that. He was like, how is work? And, oh, I noticed that you're off on Saturdays. Don't you want to get a job on Saturdays too? So this life coach was calling that our curse. What curse are you still holding on to around money? Everybody has a money curse. And I thought that was so interesting to put it that way because it really is a curse. It's no matter how much money I earn and no matter how much success I feel like I've experienced, I always feel like there's more, there's another level. What else can I be doing? And it's really hard to let that go. So in the reverse, my curse from my dad has driven me. So that's an awesome thing that it has made me push harder and do more. But how about the other people who are cursed with the, you'll never be a success. You're never going to amount to anything. Go ahead, go to beauty school because you're too dumb to go to college. A lot of people grew up with that, and we don't know what people's curse is. But I do know that a client will happily take advantage of your curse, whichever it is. My clients take advantage of the curse that I will always bend over backwards, fit them in, go in on my day off, stay till midnight, You know, when my body is completely falling apart, I still smile and say, sure, I'll stay for you. You turned your hair orange with sun in. How can I let you go to your son's communion party that way? Even though you're the jackass that was cheap and didn't want to pay me to do it right the first time, I will happily fix your mess. So inside, I'm thinking, you're an asshole and I don't want to deal with you and you're cheap. But I go ahead and do it because of my curse of don't say no, do more, that's extra money. You can go out to dinner tonight with that extra money. So what is your curse and what is keeping you from raising your prices? What I would love for this talk to lead to is for every single person watching to go into your business. If it's your business, for sure, open up the computer and just quickly click a button and give yourself a $3 raise on whatever your most popular service is. If you do more color, raise your single process color by $3. If you do more cuts, raise your cut by $3. $3 is nothing. The supermarket never apologizes when they raise the price of kale. When everybody's on kale, kale goes up. When everybody's on romaine lettuce, romaine goes up. Tomatoes go up. Everything goes up. Your doctor's office does not send you a note, an email, or hug you and say, we're so sorry, but your copay went up. No other industry gives such warning and apology for raising prices than the beauty industry. I started out in 1986. I believe my root retouches in 1986 were $28, $32, something along those lines. I can't even remember. I don't want to remember. But when I'm on these forums, on these Facebook groups, I still see people charging $38, $45, $46. The price of color is through the roof, and it doesn't matter what brand you use anymore. Even the old school liquid, old time, color has gotten up to like over $5 a bottle, $6 a bottle. If you're still charging under $40 for a root retouch, and especially if you're an employee at a salon at 50% commission, your commission would start at less than $20, and you have to pay taxes on that money. And it takes, a good 45 minutes to an hour with that client. So you paid to go to a school to learn a skill, to earn a living. And we, the hairdresser, and some of the owners are standing in the way of us making more money. It's as simple as respecting yourself, knowing your worth, and supply and demand. Now, if you're just starting out, these younger people just starting out have more confidence than any 35-year veteran that I know. I know people who've been in the industry for 35, 40 years, still charging the same price, packed to the gills, wait list, and it's never occurred to them, wow, I have a wait list, I need to raise my price. It's supply and demand. All I have to do, hi Julie, all I have to do is charge more. So on the other end, if you are a hairdresser who has not stepped foot into an educational class since the day you got your license, shame on you, first of all, for doing that. And of course you're going to still charge $38 because you're doing a technique from 30 years ago that's not even relevant anymore. So you are in control, but you need to seek out quality education. I've been in the industry for 32 years. I've owned my salon for 29 years, and I go to more education than anyone that I know. And I also teach. So you get to the point where you start to go to classes and shows, and it starts to get very redundant and repetitive. And most hairdressers will just give up and say, oh, great, I know everything, I'm good. That's when the trouble happens. That's when you stop being able to raise your prices because you don't know everything. And right now, the trends of root shadowing and double and triple glazing and melting and hair painting, all of those things are brand new. So if you're not doing them, someone in your area is, and your clientele is going to see a picture of someone who got something cool done. They're going to be on Pinterest, they're going to be on Instagram, and they're going to find that Insta-famous hairdresser. Go to them when they've been coming to you for 20 years and you're scared to raise your price. They're going to go and sit in the Insta-famous person's chair and spend triple what you've been charging them. They're not going to get treated the way that you treat them, but they're going to feel special because it's new. So it's like marriage. Don't give your husband a reason to look for another woman. If you keep him happy in the kitchen and the bedroom at home and you guys have good communication, he's not going to have a reason to look at the hot little secretary with the high heels. But it's all about give and take and staying relevant and really caring about your craft and shedding the curse of whatever it is that you grew up with. If you can't get past it on your own, hire a coach, hire a therapist, but shed the curse that tells you that you're not enough, that you'll never be anything, you'll never be successful. Find the education that you need. I just was at the airport yesterday. We had a delay, and I found another class that I want to go to. It's a gentleman out of Australia. I've been kind of watching him through Instagram. My friend Kara has been to his education. So I read they're coming to New York, and I was thrilled because going to Australia is a big, big trip and very expensive. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, is this class worth going to? You know me, you know that I teach, you know the level of experience that I have. Am I going to feel like this is a good value and was worth my time? And her answer immediately with no hesitation was yes, absolutely. So I will go. It's November in New York. It's a company, Edwards & Co., if you didn't already know about them. They do a lot of the really dramatic root shadows with the really pastel pale ends. I tend to be a little wimpy with my root shadows. I want to step outside my box. So figure out what it is that's holding you back from your price increases. If you're jamming in a client every 15 minutes and it's like an assembly line in your book and clients are feeling like they're sitting with a wet head in between and they're with you for 3.5 hours when they can be in and out in an hour, you have to analyze what type of service that you're offering. If your service has to equal your pricing, you can't just say, oh, Elaine talked about raising my price on the coffee talk, I'm going to go back and raise mine by 50%. Like, it has to be small, little, steady increases. I'm at the point now where I don't even tell my staff when I'm raising the prices, because the more of a big deal that I make out of price increases, the bigger deal that their curse pops up. I'm not worth it. My client's going to think I'm not worth it. They're going to leave me. I don't have any of that happen because I just go on the computer and I raise it, and the person who takes the client's money takes it. Not one client has noticed because it's these little $3 increments, but they add up. If I didn't do these little $3 increments, I told you my price in 1986 was $28. Now my single process touch-up is $98. So if I never increased it, imagine 32 years later, if I only raised my prices every 5 years, I would still be doing a $45 touch-up. Now, some of you are from different areas of the country and you'll say, oh, you must be from New York or California or some big city. I'm from a suburb right outside of Philadelphia. It's a very blue collar town. It used to be like a newspaper factory paper type town. It's not some, hoity-toity area, but I've been getting educated and growing myself and doing things that most people in my area don't do, and therefore I can justify the difference in price. And I'm not for everyone. So it comes down to branding, deciding who you want to be and what you want to be known for and making that your thing. Like, we made a conscious choice to stop doing kids. I couldn't justify making the environment upscale and being able to charge high prices and then having little Johnny running around with a hairy taffy, touching the hot irons, touching everything, laying on the floor with a crayon and a coloring book and under the stylist's feet. I did all that. I did all that for the first 20 years of my career, and I hated every second of it. I hated doing bridal parties. I hated doing waxing. There were so many things that I hated doing, and I continued to do them because of the curse of you're not enough. You're never going to be anything. You have to do all that. That's what you do. You didn't go to college. You have to do your bridal parties. You have to work on Saturdays. All those things were always in my head. And then one day I woke up and was like, wait a minute. This is my business. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm never doing a kid again. I'm never doing a bride again. I'll do waxing if I feel like it, but it's not my thing, so I don't really promote it to my clients. Sometimes they'll ask me if I'll do their wax, and I'll do it, but I don't love it, and I don't think I'm really good at it. So you're doing the client and yourself a disservice by keeping on doing things you don't like to do. And then what happens is, if you do enough things that you don't like to do, you start to think, am I in the right business? Should I be doing something else? And that's not always the answer. It's just finding your little niche of what you love to do, doing more of it, and doing so much of it that your book becomes filled with the things you want to do and not the things you feel compelled that you have to do. So that is, why I was excited to get on here today, because I don't think that anyone realizes the power that you have over your compensation. I think we all get into a groove where we show up at work, we do what we're supposed to do, we're in the routine, we don't question anything, we just do it. And if you work for someone else and you feel like your prices aren't in alignment with your skill level or your book of business, and your owner could just be on autopilot and just be thinking, oh, she's busy or he's busy, they're happy, they're not saying anything, so it's all good, let me leave it alone. But if you feel like, there's something that you want to do more of, there's a class that you want to go to your salon owner and say, hey, I want to go to this Michael Kelly class in New York, it's $800, would you pay half for me so that I can go? I know I, as an owner, in my compensation package, I always say to people in the interview, you have to go to 2 education events per year minimum, and able to work here and charge the prices that you charge. You have to constantly learn and grow. I make that part of our culture. And I still have a hard time getting some people to go to things. But the worst thing you can ever do is think that you know it all and that you've arrived and that you don't need to grow yourself. I don't understand why Pennsylvania doesn't have CEUs. When I teach at the shows, I have people come up to me with their program booklet and say, can you please sign this for my CEUs? And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, and then I looked it up and I saw that certain states have continuing education requirements, and I think that's beautiful. I think they should have it. I know hairdressers in my own area who I know for a fact have not stepped foot in a class since they graduated beauty school. And when you go into their salon, you can see it. There's rollers in bins with clips, and there's hair nets, and there's caps, and there's all the remnants of the year that they went to beauty school and the telltale sign that they have not grown. With online education, I just had my second online education training webinar on Sunday, and it was fabulous. It was sold out. All the spots were full. It was only $20, and it's 90 minutes. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on your computer. You can watch it from your iPad. You can be laying in bed and your husband's watching something you don't want to watch anyway on television, and you're learning from your device on your lap. It is so cool that we can do that now. I came up in this business in the world where I had to get on a train, a plane, or travel really far to seek out education. So you have no excuse. If you're in the industry right now and you're sitting in the back room just bitching over and over again, I'm not busy, where are all the clients, I hate this job, I'm going to go and get a job in an office, I want benefits. We've all been there. I've been there, back in the beginning of my career. I used to sit in the back room reading What Color is My Parachute? I'm aging myself. That book still exists. Now you would take an online quiz to find out, what is your emotional intelligence, what is your passion? And I sat and read the book, and everything in the book kept pointing me back to being right where I was, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't busy. And I looked at the back room at these sad souls that just kept repeating the same story. I was 19 years old, full of passion and very bold. I always was not shy about going after what I wanted and going out to the mall and abducting a client, bringing them in for an instant makeover. I did what I had to do to get busy. And I surpassed everybody in the back room. I had just started at the company, and there's 3 other colorists, had way more experience than me. I should say more time in than me. There's a difference between time spent, like you're in prison, or experience and growth. So if you say, oh, I'm in this business 15 years, but you haven't sharpened your skills in 14, you're not equal to someone who just came out of beauty school and is Insta famous and is all over YouTube and has 4 million views and is teaching at the there's people teaching at the Behind the Chair show this year that have 3 years of experience in the industry, and they're going to be up on stage, where that was always my dream to make it on that stage. And I've been in the industry 32 years. So you have to take a look at that. I have to look at that and say, okay, I need to embrace social media, and I need to get cracking on learning how to grow my following on Instagram. And I am. I'm doing it. I'm not sitting at home saying, oh, they're young, it's a generation thing. We can tell ourselves excuses all day long, but the bottom line is nobody gives a shit about you but you. And I mean just you. Your parents love you, but they're not going to hand deliver you to a class in New York City. They don't know about the class. They don't know that it exists. And I wouldn't know that it exists if I wasn't sitting on Instagram looking for it. There's a little button on Instagram that says for you. It knows what you do for a living. Creepy Big Brother is good in some ways because they know that I'm always looking for hairstyles, colors, trends, education. So it popped up. And it's, I went down the rabbit hole and I said, oh, I like this guy's work. Does he do education? Oh, darn, he's from Australia. Oh, wait, he's coming on these dates to San Francisco and New York. Now, of course, I would much rather go to San Francisco than New York because it's November in New York and I hate the cold. But I also have a budget that I want to try to stick to. And it's been, a crazy year and I've spent a lot of money on this technology and I need a new computer. So I'm going to go to the New York one. So rather than sit it out completely, I say, okay, if I stick with New York, I don't need a flight and I don't need to stay over. I can go for the day. So there's always a way. And like I said, online education is where it's at. And when I say that, I don't mean sitting home watching YouTube videos of people who are not hairdressers coloring their own hair. There's a great meme going around where a girl's bleaching her own hair and she uses a Walmart bag as the cap. And the Walmart letters bled onto the bleach on her hair. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's out there. It's hysterical. It never gets, every time I see it, I laugh because it never gets old. That, these people doing these videos have like 5 million followers and they're not hairdressers, they're not professionals, and they're teaching people how to do things that they have no business teaching them. But what's the difference between them and me? They understand how to grow followers and how to do things for shock value and how to get people to follow them. That's not who I am. That's not who my brand is. So I'm slow and steady. I'm at like 1,600 followers on Instagram, which I'm proud of as a 51-year-old woman. My kids laugh because they're like, wow, Mom, you have more followers than me. But I'm nowhere near the amount that I need to be to have hair color companies want to sponsor me and have opportunities come my way. But I refuse to do it the wrong way. I will not buy followers. I will not do the you follow me, I follow you. I want people to find me and follow me that are my people, that like the way that I teach, that resonate with what I'm saying today, that want to grow as a human being and as a colorist and as a hairstylist, not just pick up some trendy technique that's going to last a minute. I want to help you grow yourself as a person and how to stand up for yourself and how to raise your prices and how to change who you are, what your brand is, and where you want to go. So I hope that this helped some people put their big girl panties on. I want to see feedback. I want someone in the comments next week to say, I did it. I did the $3 and nobody noticed. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Because $3 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you see 10 clients a day times 5 days times 3, then your income at the end of the year is going to be several $1,000s higher. I didn't even get into upselling conditioning treatments, add-on services, sparkle lights at the sink. I'm always pushing my sparkle lights, a couple little painted on highlights right around the hairline at the sink will always turn your client into a blonde anorexic. She'll be begging you for them every visit. We have a conditioning treatment in the salon that really shows a noticeable difference. It's one of the few things that I can be proud to recommend to a client. We charge $20 for it. Other salons charge up to $35 for it. But it's done at the bowl. It takes 5 minutes. The client gets a great relaxing massage, and it's recommended to be done immediately after color and only from visit to visit. Like, it's not a take-home product. It's not something that they should come once a week and get. And people are so addicted to it. They ask me now every single visit. I've never had something like that happen where I've gotten them into the habit of actually saying, oh, you're going to do that thing, right? At the, right at the bowl. after my color. I really love that. It really makes a difference. So we have to train our clients to know what to ask for and what to look for by offering these services in the first place. If I never did that treatment to the client ever, she would never know what it was like. And I ended up doing it in January. You have to be creative about your promotions. Do it in a time of year that it tends to be slow in the salon, and I did it as a client reward. You know, I gave them a gift at the holidays and said, ask for this treatment at your next visit. It's complimentary. Happy holidays. And doing it in January caused them to want it in February, in March, in April, and May, the whole year. So be strategic about it. And if it's sitting in your salon and it's not being sold, it's just taking up space. Give it to the client as a free treatment. Be creative. Talk to the owner in your salon. Ask them if you can do promotions. When we're really slow, different times, a lot of clients go on vacation. We'll call a client and say, if you want to bring a friend to your visit, we can offer 50% off each of you for your visit, so that you get a brand new client and you still make the same commission you would have made if you only did that one client and then sat in the back room and bitched for an hour. You have that client, you have access to her friends and who she's going to recommend, and it's a snowball effect. So don't get tortured by your curse. I want you to think about, when you end this video, I want you to think about, what is your curse? And I hate to bash parents, but they all gave us something. I mean, I know I'm giving my kids a curse and I don't mean to. So it's a thing. Like, I thought that was so interesting. If you guys are watching now and you missed the beginning, go back and listen to the part about the curse. What is your money curse? Because we all have one. So check it out. Check out what your curse is. Do some deep thinking around it and think about how you can change it. And I promise you, I went from a $28 retouch to a $98 retouch, and I've been able to go on vacation 1 week out of every month for the last 6 months, because I'm charging what I'm worth. I'm sticking up for myself. I'm telling the clients, no, I'm not available. I am away on that date, and I stick to it. So I have broken my curse. I hope you break your curse, and I hope to see you next Wednesday morning for coffee and colorful conversation. Have a great day.